I want to quickly say, I made a video based all around how Khabib retired and how the lightweight division changed because of his retirement, and I didn't upload it mostly because I fell asleep. Time I was meant to upload it, and I was like, oh, it's just too late to upload it now because everyone's made videos on it already. It would be kind of a poking the dead horse. I don't know the right wording, but Sylvia Anderson Anderson Sylvia. Is it Sylvia? Oh no. But he has just retired, and we saw his retirement come after a big loss. And the thing is, he already was going to retire. He said, "This is my last fight. I want it to be a good one." And it's sad to see the true king of the middleweights fall. He had such a brilliant career, so it's really depressing to see him go like that, and with such a bad loss as well. Me and I'm pretty sure even Hall wanted to watch Anderson win. We all wanted to see the Spider win again, but we didn't see that. If you don't follow the Spider's career, he had one of the longest title runs in history. When you win a belt in this sport, you have to defend that belt. So if you ever lose one of your title defense, someone takes your belt and then has to defend the belt, just like how you used to have to. He defended the belt 12 times, which is the longest run as champion ever, and nobody's ever been able to beat him. The second place is Israel Adesanya, but like I'll bring up later in this episode, Israel Adesanya has gone up a weight, making the belt vacant. But anyway, seeing Anderson Silva, it kinda, we're no longer in the age of the gods. We're in the age of the modern. We're not going. We no longer have the gods of UFC by our side. Khabib has fallen. Well, Khabib never fell. He walked down himself. Khabib has retired. Sorry. Spider has retired. Big names have retired. It's no longer the age of legends. This is the age to make new legends, and I'm pretty sure even people like Conor McGregor are getting close to retiring. I think we need new blood in this sport. We need to bring in prospects. Kind of like how Israel Adesanya doesn't have many wins, and he kinda, to me, feels like the new blood of the sport. Kind of like when Spider and Adesanya fought. You saw the old versus the new. I think it's time to give way to the new and kinda stop talking about the old in a way. Now, I did bring up Conor McGregor. I was wrong about that. I don't know why I brought up Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is kind of in the middle of the old and the new. He kind of joined in the middle, so I don't really know about Conor. Conor is it's becoming a forced topic. It's like Of course, we gotta talk about Conor because he's the biggest name in the sport. We gotta talk about Conor. Conor's always gonna be here, but I feel like Conor isn't that far away from retiring. Honestly, I think a few, maybe 5 more fights and Conor retires. This sport no longer feels like Conor's sport. It feels like the sport of the sport needs to change. And with Khabib leaving the sport, I don't really know what Conor has left to do. If Conor wins the vacant lightweight belt, what does he do with it? Honestly, I don't know where we can go with Conor right now. But I'll talk about Conor and all of that later. I don't know why I actually got on to the subject of Conor. But, yeah, Spider has retired. I'm sad to see him go. But I'm kinda, at the same time, happy. Because, you know, we gotta look forward to the new. This upcoming year, we're gonna we're going to have some very exciting fights, such as Kobe Covington versus Jorge Masvidal, which has been confirmed to be next year or December. I'm 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 so excited for this fight. I'm not excited at all. If you get what I mean. I want to know who wins. I want the winner to be Masvidal. I don't think I've said this, but I don't really like Colby. Colby has a lot of strong opinions, and it's not my place to say which ones are right and which ones are wrong. It's completely his opinion um, on his opinion. Um, So I'm not going to say if his opinion's wrong or if it's right or any of that. I'm just going to say somebody who has such strong opinions and words them so violently how he does. Like, you can have an opinion. Like, okay, let's use this as a subject. Religion. I am a atheist, meaning I don't think God exists. I do not think God exists at all. But I'm completely fine if you do. If you believe in God, I'm completely fine if you do. We have no problems. We just don't have to talk about religion. You believe what you believe, I believe what I believe, we move on, okay? Because there's a lot of things in the world. There's a Life is very long, and I think you should spend most of your life enjoying it instead of complaining. Colby isn't like that, and it's his opinion on whether he wants to act like this, but having a person who says, oh, I can beat this person, I can beat this person, I can beat this person, gets in the ring with them and loses, then afterwards says, oh yeah, I could have beat them, but you didn't. Colby Covington fought Kamaru Usman and lost. He's now backtracking and saying, oh yeah, I could have won, then why didn't you? Now he's saying he wants to fight Masvidal, and whoever wins the Masvidal fight fights Usman again. Colby, you have a lot of strong opinions, and instead of wording them and saying, oh, this is my idea, I think it could work like this, you're threatening everyone. Saying, oh yeah, I could beat the shit out of Usman. Oh, I can beat the shit out of Masvidal. But the thing is, you can be proven incorrect very easily. Now, I'm going to backtrack. I do not mean this about religion, okay? Before all of you say, oh, Lawrence is... No, that was just a topic to explain what I'm saying. I do not believe in religion. I do not believe in a god, but you might. Let's just agree to disagree. Move on. Now that's a formal way to do it, and I think everyone benefits from that formal way. But Colby is acting in an informal way, saying, no, you're wrong, I'm right. Whilst that isn't a very enjoyable thing to see. It's kind of like the John Jones situation, where John Jones is saying he's the GOAT, whilst not bringing any evidence forth. That's like me saying, my God isn't real, but I'm not going to tell you why. That's like me saying that. I just don't personally believe it. I'm not going to say you're wrong or I'm right or any of that. I just move on. John Jones saying, oh, I'm the greatest GOAT, and then not giving evidence why, is like Colby saying, oh, I can beat this person. Well, why can you? I don't know, but I can. You have to give me evidence to believe you, Colby. You can't just throw out some wild claims and say, and I'll believe them. You can't just do that. That isn't how logic works. I need evidence and proof to see your claims. Like if Jorge Masvidal said I can beat Huseman, I would believe that, because if you watch the Huseman versus Masvidal fight, even though Masvidal barely fucking trained for this fight, he still was able to survive 5 rounds with Huseman, which almost nobody can do. That's a lot of evidence to say if Masvidal did have a full training camp, he could beat Huseman. That's a lot of evidence towards that. Masvidal, without barely any training, was able to stick and move with Huseman. He didn't win, but he was still able to move at the same speed as Huseman. Now bring in that extra training camp. Would Masvidal be able to beat Huseman? Yes. But Colby showed no promise against Huseman. So Colby now saying I can beat Huseman is based on zero fact. And him saying, oh, I can beat Masvidal is also based on zero fact, because we have never seen them two in a ring together. If you wanted to bring up evidence like I'm better at this than Masvidal, or Masvidal's better than me at this, if you wanted to bring evidence forth like that, looking at his previous fights, then that could work. But just saying I'm better than him with no evidence, no nothing, doesn't work. We need evidence to be excited. So when I say I'm excited for this fight, I'm excited to see if Colby is saying the truth, if Colby actually has evidence to back up his claims, or if Masvidal gets his rematch with Huseman. I think if Masvidal does get his rematch with Huseman, I think Masvidal will win and become the new welterweight champion. But, you know, I'm excited for this fight because I want to see who is correct in their claims. But at the same time, I'm not excited for this fight because I like Masvidal, but I like Masvidal for his fights. I feel like Masvidal is a lot like Colby sometimes, just throwing out random claims. So I feel like watching two people that I don't really like that much is going to be a bit annoying for me. So I'm excited, but it's probably not a fight I'm going to watch. Kind of like the Spider fight, the Spider versus Hall fight I talked about previously. I didn't watch the fight because I already knew who's going to win. I'm not watching this fight because I just don't like I don't really like the people who's going to fight. I like Masvidal, sometimes he's funny, sometimes he does funny stuff, sometimes his fights are really good, but the guy, his personality, I don't really bode with. So yeah, that's my personal opinion on them. I'm not attacking your personal opinion. I hope you don't attack my personal opinion. Khabib has retired. Now, I have lots of mixed opinions about this, such as, my past video I made about Khabib is if Khabib retires, the lightweight division will become a lot more interesting. Now, I still hold these beliefs, because fucking hell, the lightweight division has become a lot more interesting. Such as, some people have been speculating, it hasn't been confirmed, so I don't want you people to say Lawrence has confirmed this, all of that. It has been speculated that there will be a small tournament for the vacant belt. Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje. Now, if they do this, I think that's a brilliant fucking idea. But the thing is, Dustin Poirier is, at this moment, not ranked. So, throwing Dustin Poirier into the mix is a bit unfair. There are current people who have worked very hard to become ranked. So, Dustin Poirier just popping his head in and saying, oh, I want to become ranked, and then becoming ranked, is a bit unfair. He hasn't fought to become ranked, he just showed up and became ranked. It's unfair. It's pointless. Why the fuck are we making Poirier ranked? But anyway, if this does happen, I think that will make the lightweight division white hot, because I want to see Ferguson versus Gaethje too. I think that's a very interesting fight, because how badly Gaethje destroyed Ferguson. I want to see a rematch to see if Ferguson can make up for his mistakes. Also, I want to see the return of Conor. I want to see how much better Conor is, because we saw the Cerrone fight. Conor, if he puts his mind to it, can fuck people up. I don't want to see the old Conor, who is the old bitter fucking hates everyone. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the superstar who does all these fucking horrific things to people. I want to see the gentleman Conor, who we saw in the Cerrone fight. I want to see that. I want to see him go to the person and say, it's fine, you're champ in UFC, it's fine. Like, I want to see that Conor, okay? So, it's pretty much impossible Conor is watching this. He's definitely not. But, Conor, if you stumble upon this video, please, just be a nice guy. Everyone prefers you when you're being a nice guy. Like, those little comments, like, we didn't come here to take part, we came here to take over. Yeah, you can still say those. Like, those are fine. They're just little tiny threats. But being a dick to how you were to Khabib, no, never do that ever fucking again. Because you were horrific to Khabib. Never do that ever again, bro. Never. But, yeah. I'm excited for the tournament, and I really hope it happens. McGregor versus Poirier has been signed, the contract has been signed, it's confirmed, it's happening in the UFC, it's going to have its own UFC event. I don't know if it's going to have a fight night, or if it's going to be a UFC event. My money is on UFC event, because fucking hell, McGregor makes money, bro. When McGregor is in the ring, you're pretty much destined to make a fuck ton of money. So I don't know why they would put it at a fight night. If you don't know, fight nights are pretty much, oh, we forgot about this. This fight wasn't going to happen. Now it is. We can't really put together a UFC event for them. Okay, just make the special event for them. It's kind of like a, oh, what the fuck do we do? We've already made a UFC event, what do we do? Oh, fuck it, just make an extra one. That's what fight nights are pretty much. So, I don't think it will have a fight night, because fight nights are normally used for, like, oh, these people, just throw them in there, I guess. We'll think about the superstars over in UFC. So, Conor isn't going to get a fight night, he's going to get a UFC event. But the thing is, my mind is thinking this. With all of the gigantic fucking talk about Masvidal versus Colby, Conor versus Poirier, I have an idea. Gaethje has also said he wants another fight for the belt in a few weeks. So, here's my idea. January 2021, UFC 257. Okay, because 255 is happening in November. UFC 257 is happening in December. Okay, so UFC 258, I guess? No, 7. No, 7, because, sorry, no. UFC 255 is happening in November. UFC 256 is happening in December. So UFC 257, January 2021, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier for main event. Then, for the pay-per-views, Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. Then, Justin Gaethje versus Tony Ferguson 2. Now, you can't sit there and tell me that will not be a banging fucking UFC event. If they put that together, I'm saying that's the biggest UFC event ever held. And that's not me overdoing it. I think that will be the biggest UFC event ever held. Now think about this. Now I am going a bit crazy here, but think about this. What if Conor wins against Poirier and then fights Justin Gaethje for belt? Jorge Masvidal beats Colby and fights Houston for the belt. They both get the belt. That sets up Jorge Masvidal versus Conor McGregor, the super fight. You cannot sit there and tell me that will not be the biggest fight ever. Bigger than Tyson Fury, bigger than Deontay Wilder, bigger than Anthony Joshua, bigger than anything sport has ever done. I think that will be the biggest sport event pretty much ever. You cannot sit there and tell me Jorge Masvidal versus Conor McGregor, the super fight, does not raise eyebrows. Because think about, what if McGregor wins that super fight? That means McGregor becomes the first ever person to hold 3 weight division belts. The first ever person. And also, Jorge Masvidal has never held a division belt. So what if his next 2 fights, he wins 2 belts? That would be mad. That's my opinion on the tournaments, and that's my opinion on the next few UFC events. I want to see that. So I don't care what happens. I want Justin Gaethje to lose against Conor. I want everyone to lose against Conor. I want everyone to lose against Jorge Masvidal, and I want this fucking super fight to happen, because everyone wants that to be answered. Who would win, Jorge Masvidal or Conor McGregor? Everyone wants that answered. Everyone would. Me, and I'm pretty sure every other UFC fan will say Jorge Masvidal wins that fight. But let's think about this. Conor McGregor has won fights that nobody thought he would win before. Could he do it again? I'm saying yeah. I'm saying Conor McGregor wins. Israel Adesanya annihilated Paulo Costa his last fight, and after that amazing win over Paulo Costa, Israel Adesanya went on a gigantic rant talking about how UFC needs to clamp down on people missing weight. Now, I do completely agree with Adesanya in this. I think if someone misses weight in a fight, it's unfair to make them fight, or it's unfair for that person to only lose 10% of what they're earning. So they still earn their money. They can cheat and still win in a way. So I do agree with Adesanya with they should clamp down on weight cuts. But following this, Israel Adesanya, I guess, had a tough time with cutting weight, because right after his fight with Paulo Costa, there was a lot of speculation with Adesanya moving up a weight class. Even I made a video talking about this when Israel Adesanya won the fight. I said things like, if Israel Adesanya went up a weight class versus Jan Blachowicz, that would be amazing fight, because I don't know who would win. Jan Blachowicz really surprised me. I've never been a big light heavyweight fan. I've usually been in the small weight classes. Me being a bantamweight currently, I've always been a fan of lighter weight classes, because I don't know, it just kinda, I'm I'm in the lighter weight class. I like to watch Fight Star in the lighter weight class. I don't know why, but you know. So I've always been a fan of bantamweight or lightweight or featherweight or yeah, that's pretty much it. Middleweight, really. Well, even though middleweight's a bit up there, I do sometimes like a middleweight fight. So I've never been a big fan of middleweight. So when Israel Adesanya showed up, and I started watching Israel Adesanya's fights, it started to interest me, and now I'm a fan of middleweight fights. I never used to be light heavyweight fan, but when um when Israel Adesanya was setting up before his fight versus Paulo Costa, the UFC does a little thing called the UFC Countdown, where they give you a 5-part series, just a bunch of interviews with the fighters, telling you their mindsets before the fight, how they're training, all of that stuff. And in this little mini documentary thing, Jan Blachowicz showed up in it, and I've never been a light heavyweight fan, but Jan Blachowicz had a fight on the card, so I was kind of like, okay, he's the co-main event, I guess I'll watch his parts. And Jan Blachowicz, I found very, very funny. I found him a very interesting man. I was like, okay, I might watch your fights, you seem interesting. I watched the light heavyweight fight and fucking adored it, and now I'm a fan of light heavyweight. You see how these two people have made two weight classes I do not give a single shit about one of the most interesting things in the world. I never used to be a fan of middleweight, and now I'm watching every single fight to do with middleweight. Never used to be a fan of light heavyweight, and now I fucking adore it. These two people have changed the weight class for me, so I'm extremely excited to see them fight, because both of them I am a fan of. So whoever wins, I will be happy with the outcome. If Israel Adesanya wins, cool. Israel Adesanya keeps his undefeated streak for a bit longer, and he wins a second belt. That is extremely interesting. If Jan Blachowicz wins, okay, cool. Jan Blachowicz sets up more fights for the future. That is cool. But something reminded me. I can't remember what, but actually, yes, I do. I was on Twitter and I found the John Jones tweets where John Jones was saying he's the GOAT, no Khabib is John Jones is... I don't care. I don't think either Khabib or John Jones are the GOAT. In my personal opinion, you might have an opinion otherwise, I do not care. My personal opinion, either one of them aren't the GOAT. Neither one of them are the GOAT. But seeing John Jones' tweets reminded me of something. If Israel Adesanya wins against Jan Blachowicz, Israel Adesanya becomes the new light heavyweight champ. This sets up a lot regarding John Jones. We could either have John Jones going, nah, actually heavyweight isn't for me, and going back down to light heavyweight and battling Israel Adesanya, which is something I really want to see. Or we could have this. The next few months, we could see Israel Adesanya defending the light heavyweight belt for multiple months. Then John Jones finally getting the heavyweight belt. We could see this. And then both of them having a super fight, sorry. We could see that, which also interests me. To be honest, I don't want Israel Adesanya to fight John Jones. I want to see John Jones retire. That is my honest opinion, because John Jones is a lot like Colby Covington. They say a lot of claims, but they don't back up themselves. Fight-wise, John Jones, whatever he says fight-wise, can normally be backed up. Like, oh, I can beat Israel Adesanya. We can look back at John Jones's fights, and we can look back at Israel Adesanya's fights and say, yes, John Jones has a large chance of winning. We could say multiple things, but John Jones is a lot like Colby Covington in the way he has lots of claims and doesn't back them up, such as I'm the GOAT, I'm as good as Khabib. You have shown yourself to be a king of the UFC. I think John Jones is the light heavyweight GOAT. But after all I've seen of John Jones, it's hard to see him as a GOAT. Hard to see him as a champion. After the multiple failed drug tests, after the multiple controversial wins, and the controversial stuff of hiding from the drug tests and all of that stuff, it's hard to see him as someone to look up as. I personally don't want John Jones to be a champion of any weight class. I want John Jones to be cut from UFC. Now, I do enjoy John Jones as a fighter. I do not enjoy him as a person. At all. I want John Jones to get cut from the UFC for the multiple failed drug tests, for the multiple just horrific things he's done in the past. The multiple comments he's made about people. I want him to be cut from the UFC. Honestly, I don't. There's a side of both case. I want John Jones to retire, because what is there left for John Jones? Like, yes, you've won the belt, you've proven yourself. What now? If you beat Israel Adesanya, if you beat the heavyweight Stipe Miocic, if you beat this person, beat this person, beat this person, where do you go from there? It all becomes boring. I want John Jones to retire, because we know he can win. We know he can win. We don't have to be proven. It doesn't have to be proven. I just want John Jones to retire. I'm not interested in his fights anymore. He's become boring to me. Anyway. Whatever happens in the fighting world doesn't really matter right now, because me and Courtney are doing a charity stream on November 21st. This is going to be a very insane charity stream, because I have betted my hair on it. If we get to a certain goal, I will be going bald, and it will be streamed. It will be all on Twitch. You guys can see me go bald if you donate enough. So I hope you guys can make it to the event. I'm very excited for it. But yeah, hope you guys have a nice weekend, and yeah, I don't really know what to say. I'm shit at the outros. Anyway, see you guys next time. I'll see you guys next fight week. Goodbye.